All right, well, we are back here with the iWealth podcast, and today we have a fun saying that goes, pigs get slaughtered. You taught me this a long time ago.
And I'm not a farmer.
And you're not a farmer, that's right. And so everything is up very, very, very high right now. So the question is, what are you doing with your gains, and when is it time to take something off the table?
Yeah, so the old saying, pigs get slaughtered, that means don't be greedy with your investments, right?
Okay.
So, for instance, you buy a stock and the stock goes up 100%, you might want to sell that stock and take some gains out the saying that's what that is. Also, I don't mind farmers. In fact, I wish I could be a farmer. I just would go broke doing it. I've gotten the tractor stuck a couple times. I can't make it, so I've got to keep my day job. But, we're all of a sudden we're at Dow 30,000, Matt. And you go back to the 2000s, like we're going to hit Dow 10,000, we're going to hit Dow 10,000. And here we sit, Dow 30,000, in the middle of a pandemic. I mean, we've had such a run up. I wrote these numbers down. So October 31st, 1994, I started in this business. Okay. The Dow was at 3,908. So Dow's at 3,908. Today it's over 30,000.
It's huge.
It's a huge gain.
That's massive.
Right.
Like massive.
Right. But imagine you invested at 3,908 in a Dow, and then it gets to 10. Your brain is telling you, get out.
Be done.
Right. Pigs get slaughtered, Brad, get out, right? Yep. And then it goes to Dow 20,000. And then it goes to Dow 30,000. And so the concept here is that you just need to, diversification. You can't put all your eggs in one basket, okay, right? But this thing is just never done, meaning it always gets a new all-time high.
Yeah.
Remember back in 08 and 09, Dow drops, or the S&P drops, like 57%.
Sure.
Never going to get back. We have an all new time high this year in the S&P. So it does get back. It's just, can you stomach it, and can you make it through that time period? Mm-hmm. And so here we sit today, when you talk about pigs get slaughtered at 30,000, saying, well, if I had money in the bank, should I be putting it away, right? Should I leave it in the bank, or should I put it in the market? We're at all-time highs. Yeah. What should we do?
Yeah. It's so attractive to go and put money in right now.
It is.
It's that high.
It is.
That exciting.
Yeah, and what was it? What was the term? Irrational exuberance was the term I think Greenspan used back in the day, of just people being euphoria of like the .com area. We're just going to put money in and put money in. I don't think it feels like that right now. I don't think we have that irrational exuberance when it comes to the market. I think we're on pretty good footing for next year. Nobody knows better. I don't know any better than you do, but I think we're on pretty good footing. And so if you came in today and said, Brad, I have this windfall of $100,000, yep, and should I put it in the market? I'd have to ask you a series of questions like, what's it for? Like if you need it in the next 12 months, no, stay away from the market and leave it in the bank or get something conservative. But if you said, no, Brad, it's 5 to 10 years out money, then we'd either put it all in now, mm-hmm, or we would pick a time period we'd put it in. Maybe over the next year, over 4 quarters, we'd put $25,000 in over time and kind of drip in, so we just weren't picking that exact date. Sure. But the reason to get it in there is because go back to Dow 3,900 when I started in this business, to 10,000 to 20 to 30. We don't know when we're going to hit Dow 40,000, but I can guarantee you someday it will happen. Mm-hmm. You just had, can we be alive? Well, when's it going to happen? That kind of thing. So pigs do get slaughtered. If you got big gains, you should take some off the table and rebalance and be diversified. But it really comes down to, when do you need this money? And if it's long term, you should put it in. You can't chase. You can't wait for the next dip to buy in, because the Dow's going to go from Dow 30 to Dow 28, let's say, and you're going to might go to 26. Maybe I should wait. Mm-hmm. And then it goes to 26. It might go to 24. And you wait, and it jumps back up to Dow 30, and you missed it. You just can't time this thing. Yep. So take a look at what the money's intended for, and if it's long term, you should just put it in, be diversified, and let the market do its job long term.
And I like what you're saying about this idea of dripping it in. I think mm-hmm, that is a great way to talk about it, or at least that's helpful to somebody that doesn't spend all day every day in that world. But understanding that it's a drip. The people that have been really successful with it, based on what you've told me, drip their money into the market instead of waiting for the highs and the lows.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Like the lows in particular.
It's just tough to pick. It's really, really difficult. It's easy to get out of the market. We've had these conversations, but it's really tough to figure out when. And that's what we're talking about with Dow 30,000. Like when? Well, when do you need the money? Because if it's down the road for a while, then put it in and get it diversified and don't look at it for a while.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I love the rule of thumb of pigs get slaughtered, because that can mean something to a very low end person, to a middle of the road person, and to a super high end person. Like, but it's a great way of talking about it and thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like, if you're starting to feel like a pig, or like, man, this is really rocking right now, that's a pretty surefire sign that something needs to change in your world.
Well, and to give you an example, I had a call from a kid, college kid, in a different state, for full disclosure, in a different state, but he was asking me questions. His parents were clients. He was asking me a question. He invested in this online car company with solar or something or other, and he had taken like $2,500 to like 20 grand. And he was wondering what he should do. And I gave him Pigs Get Slaughtered, right? He had some student debt, and we decided that we were going to sell a majority of that profit and pay off his student debt to get that debt. We had that debt conversation, you know?
Yeah.
But if he thought it was going to $50,000 gain and it went back to a $5,000 gain, he'd feel horrible.
Yeah.
So, and I did tell him, once you sell this, you can't look back. Like, you can't say, what if I'd have saved it and it doubled again, right? You took care of your debt, you did the right thing. So yeah, it applies to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, and I definitely learned something.
Awesome, thanks.